Hey, I'm Spencer Powell, CEO at Builder Funnel, and we are at this job fair User Connect conference. I'm here with my buddy Kyle Hunt.
Howdy, everybody. I say howdy because we're in Texas. Do you think they can see our beautiful cowboy boots?
I don't know if they can, but we forgot our cowboy hats.
Yes, we kept the cowboy hats away, but our boots are magnificent. You guys unfortunately can't see them.
Maybe Don will throw some on.
I mean, you can see your shoes. You can see everything.
Okay,
Oh, you really can? Darn it. Even better,
We
please.
really thought we had him going.
I'm Spencer Powell, CEO at Builder Funnel. We're on our way to generating $1 billion in revenue for our clients. Hit subscribe to follow along.
We see a lot of remodelers at this conference and a lot of builders. They did kind of a cut of who was here.
Yeah.
I think it was primarily remodelers, then builders, then GCs,
Yeah.
and then
And I was pleased when I saw most of them were remodelers.
yeah. Why is that?
Because there are people.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
people. Yeah. What do you think is the most common problem or a couple of problems that you see that remodeling business owners run into? Because there's tons of problems as a business you have, but I feel like there's got to be a couple that rise.
Yeah. And I would say, since this will go after the keynote, I'm not really spoiling the keynote. I'm talking tomorrow about, are you running the business or is the business running you? And I'm really identifying some of the key things that happen of how they get overwhelmed and how they have problems. And really the first one and the thing that I see the most of is a big problem for modelers. If you do not have, now this is going to shock you, never heard this before. If you do not have a handle on your financials, if you do not know your numbers, you are already on your heels and you're already going to struggle. It is why I say it, it's why you've said it, it's why all kinds of coaches and consultants and industry talks about it. If we don't know our profit and loss statement, if we don't know our job costing, if we don't know if we're pricing our services at the correct markup and margin, if we don't understand, if we don't have a business budget, if we don't know our numbers, so much of our business is affected by that. When we get that dialed in, when we truly understand our numbers, there's so many things that kind of springboards of fixing, the estimating side, fixing the production side, be more confident in hiring, be more confident in investing in the business. So that's probably the number one problem, is not understanding your numbers.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to a couple of people about their gross margin, and you kind of sometimes you're like, hey, what's your average gross margin? You kind of see the pause,
Yeah.
and then they start thinking, and then they give you a number, but you're always kind of, I wonder if that's really the number. What is a good target range?
Yeah.
That probably make all the other numbers a lot easier to work out.
If I'm looking at my gross profit, which if I'm looking at my P&L, I'm taking my gross profit dollars, let's say 400,000, and I'm dividing that by my total revenue, let's say $1 million. So 400,000 divided by $1 million equals a 40% gross profit margin. Because out of that gross profit, I have all of my overhead expenses, and at the end of that, I have my net profit. If I'm starting at 22% and my overhead expenses are 17%, it's leaving me with a 5% net profit. Might be good, might not be good. Out of my net profit, if I'm taking owner draw, that's coming out of net profit. So again, know your numbers. As far as just what should our gross profit margin be, there's a lot of different factors involved in that, but let's start at 30%, go up from there. If you're looking at your gross profit and you're at 25% and you're a residential remodeler, you've got some work to do.
So one of the other things that I've noticed is people struggling to get out of production. You start a business, you're wearing all the hats.
Can you actually pause that question?
Yeah.
I just have to apply my Builder Funnel chapstick.
Oh. You gotta hydrate.
Pardon me. Now this is a big moment because I am very, very loyal to Burt's Bees. Like this chapstick, it's not bad. It's not bad,
Can you
but
tell what flavor it is?
the flavor is basic chapstick. What are you guys laughing about? When you put on proper Burt's Bees, there's a little tingle that you feel.
Is that the flavor or is that something else?
I'm not sure. So what I do know is that while Builder Funnel chapstick, I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Builder Funnel services, search engine optimization, really training on properly how to convert leads off of your website, that's 9.5 out of 10. But as you were saying, you were going to ask me a question.
Yes. Back now that we're done with that commercial, Builder Funnel Champs. Production, marketing, sales, finance, like there's all the hats that you're wearing as a business owner. And in my experience, shedding one of the two big buckets, either production or revenue, has been super helpful. But I feel like a lot of business owners get stuck in production. How do you actually just get out of production so that you can focus on growing?
Yeah. I mean, the first question is, do you want to do that? Like when I'm working with clients, it's kind of like, is that the, and you make a good point. Either as I'm growing my business, I get it, I'm a remodeler, I get it into that 1.25, 1.4, 1.6 up. All of a sudden it becomes very apparent that previous work that you were doing at 500, 700, 900, where I could be doing the sales and estimating, the revenue side, and I could be doing the production management side. It was doable, it was busy. But then it gets to the point where, to your point, we need to kind of decide where am I going to invest and spend my time. So that's kind of the first question is, are you really enjoying and do you enjoy the sales and the estimating side, or do you really enjoy the production side? And that might be kind of picking between your favorite kids. Like for you have two kids, yeah?
Yes.
It'd be like me saying, hey, do you love this one more than that one? Wow, that's hard. But as a business owner, you have to decide. On the production,
As a parent, you don't.
that is
you.
There's 4 cameras on us. Boom. If you edit that would be amazing, by the way. So you are being watched here, so everybody's going to see your reaction. Do you have a favorite chocolate? I believe you. If you asked me that,
Yeah. Do you have a favorite chocolate?
no, I do not. Of course not.
But you look like
How
you
good of a liar am I?
Yeah. Medium.
But I love them all. Thomas, Piper, Calvin, you're all number 1 in my heart. If you edit that would be amazing too. But back to the production question. When it comes to the production side, there's that first aspect of getting off the tools that you mentioned, and then there's the second idea of getting off the production management. If you're going to run a $2 million and up remodeling business, you need to, choose. Let's just go with the production side. You need to find a production manager, a true production manager. But you need to be able to take that client that you've walked through design and development and have a signed contract and really be able to have a nice pre-construction meeting and say, I know I've been your main point of contact. Here is Spencer. Spencer is our production manager. He's going to take wonderful care of you. I'm not disappearing. I'll still be around. But when it comes to scheduling, coordinating, communication questions, he is your guy, and he is talented at this, and he is going to make sure your project comes in on time and on budget and be a wonderful experience. So it really comes back to making a plan, passing the vision. You have to be able to afford it, so we have to know our numbers. And then it's really saying there's a person out there that I can find that's a really solid production manager. I'll share one other thing that I've noticed. This might be a trend, like a trend in the industry that I'm seeing, is I am seeing more female production managers, project managers. And I think we've had this thought in our industry that project manager, well, they have to have some field experience. It's really helpful to have some field experience. And what I think we're starting to realize, or more remodelers are seeing, is, man, project management and even production management has so much to do with the soft skills. There's a lot of those soft skills that, whether it's a female or whether it's a male, somebody that does not have production experience in the field, they can still be a heck of a project manager.
So one of the other things that came up during one of the sessions was around keeping good people. And I was kind of reflecting on some of the early years of growing this business. And when you're small, I feel like you just are inherently at a disadvantage for finding good people and keeping good people, because if they're really good, they're looking for a good opportunity, and they have to put a lot of faith that you're going somewhere and that you're building something. Any kind of advice around either finding or keeping good people when you are small?
Especially when small.
Or is it just truly, it's just hard and you've got to grunt your way through that to get big enough to prove that you're doing something?
It's interesting.
You kind of went round and round on it.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think when you're small, like what you just said, you got to put more faith in that person. It is more risky. If I'm a lead carpenter and I'm skilled and I'm a true craftsman and there's not a lot of me around, I'm a hot commodity, to put my eggs in the basket and to hitch my wagon to a remodeler who is quite early in the process, could be revenue wise, could be in that remodeler's ability to offer pay that's competitive, maybe, but probably even more so some of the benefits and perks of time off, a 401k match. That is a challenge. So knowing that challenge, the way that if I was a small remodeler needing to have that person, maybe they're looking for more autonomy on projects and really be able to lead, and you lean into that. I think the big question is, for any of our team members and at whatever size we are we really spending the time to care and to ask each of our team members what's important to you? Like what could we be doing better? What do you need more from me? How could I make your job more enjoyable? Sometimes we don't ask that because we don't want to know the answers, but it's also the roots, I think, of how we have solid retention. I know for a fact if you're not asking those questions or you're assuming everything is good, that is a great way for you as an owner to be side-swiped and realize, oh, you weren't happy and you're leaving me? So we want to be really proactive in making sure that we're doing everything that we can to make it a really enjoyable experience, and that they feel empowered, that they feel heard, that they also see a future of growth in their craft.
So, final question for you: what's the biggest reason that people come to you?
I apologize, Spencer. I did not hear that question. I was reading the Remodeler Marketing Blueprint, written by none other than Spencer Powell. This is how to attract quality leads, increase sales, and dominate your competition. I couldn't put the book down. I was quite distracted by it, but I will put this away, even though I want to read the next chapter. What was your question again?
Actually, it's funny. We're at the event September, and we were giving out books. And the next day, the guy came up and said, "I could not put this down. I read the whole thing last
That's
night."
awesome.
So,
That's awesome. You asked me.
My question was
yeah.
really, what's the biggest reason that people come to you?
Depending on if people are laughing at my jokes, it could be humor.
Probably
But
comedy,
probably
right?
probably not comedy. So I'd say a lot of people come to me because the way that I've decided to build my business is to try to give as much pure value as possible without asking anything in return. And we're kindred spirits in that, right? Of just this idea of just give. So a lot of people come to me because they go, "Yeah, I've been listening to your podcast. I implemented this. I tried that. I'm part of your Facebook group, remodellerscommunity.com. Really good." So they come to me, and there's a level. Marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. That's probably in here somewhere. So I built that. So a lot of people come to me. There's some trust built. I've been working hard for 15 years to go deep into the remodeling industry, and they're reaching out for really one of four reasons. One being the financials that are very, very important, really dialing that in. Another one is the sales process. In particular, I do a lot of coaching around charging for design and development. Number three is marketing, just really crafting your overall marketing plan and deciding your strategy and tactics. And then number four is leadership. So I'd say a lot of people start with the financials and really getting that dialed in, and then kind of move into some of the other areas.
And I would say, if you are struggling with one of those four, you should go to Remodelers on the Rise. Check out Kyle. He also has, it's probably one of the longest standing podcasts, right?
Probably
In the space.
is.
Yeah. So if you like podcasts, you should subscribe to that.
This is Kyle Hunt and Spencer Bad to the Bone Powell.
There you go. I don't even know how to wrap it up after that, so go look up Kyle, and thanks everybody.
Cool.